Hi, my name is Kevin Fernandez and welcome to my channel, Gamers Genie. Today we're going to learn how to play the spicy gardening game, Scoville. This 2 to 6 player game designed by Ed Marriott and published by Tasty Minstrel Games. In this game you are hired by the people of Scoville to meet their need for heat. Will you be able to grow the hot peppers that you need and have the spiciest chili? Or will you not be able to take the heat? Find out as we go to the table and learn how to play Scoville. Assemble the board. Make piles separated by the color of peppers and chits nearby. And I'm just pointing this out. They are all in the bags just so I can keep the mess to a minimum. But when I do the gameplay video for this game, they will be out of the bags. And I will most likely take a couple out just for some examples later on in this video. Give each player a screen, a farmer, and the matching discs to go with it. One of each bonus action tile, $10 worth in coins. It's a silver and 5 of these coppers, but I just want to point out that there is a 10 also in the game. But this is how you should give each player their money. A silver and 5 little gold coins. And 3 peppers, a red, a yellow, and a blue. Players should set up their screen to hide their stuff behind them during gameplay. And I've done that off camera. Shuffle the morning deck of the market cards, then draw a number of cards according to your number of players as shown on the board right here. And lay them beside the board face up as I have already done. Return the remainder of the morning deck back to the box. But shuffle the afternoon deck and place it right here on this table on the board. The little table on the board, not the table where the board is. Shuffle the deck of recipe cards, then draw a number of cards according to the number of players as shown over here on the board. So we have a 2-player game, so before we started rolling, Jordan and I shuffled the deck and drew 8 recipe cards and placed them right here on this side of the board. And you got to overlap them as shown right here to save room. It's a good idea to order them by score from lowest to highest. Return the remainder of the recipes back to the box. We have not done that. Whichever one, in my opinion, just whichever way makes you guys feel comfortable and where you can keep track of what's out on the board and what's not. But the rule book does recommend that you do it from lowest to highest. I do recommend if this is your first time playing Scoville, then lowest to highest would be ideal. Shuffle the morning and afternoon auction decks and place them face down near the auction house. I always like to place mine right here, but I'll put them both off camera, so they're going to be right up here. Draw cards equal to the number of players, so that would be 2, from the morning deck and place them face up in these slots on the board. Place the remainder of the morning deck plus the entire afternoon deck face down nearby. And depending on the number of players, they have a score up here that tells you how many cards you draw. But for this game, we only do 2 because it is a 2-player game that we will be playing. Separate the award plaques by pepper color and stack them in the matching spots on the roof of the city. like so. If this is a 2 or 3-player game, remove the most valuable plaques from each stack and return those to the box. Take a red, a yellow, and blue pepper into your hand. Randomly choose 2 of those to place on the starting plots, these 2 right here, of the pepper field. Return the 3rd to the supply. So we got our yellow and red, and I will return the blue to the supply. Take each player's disc, like so, and randomly place them on 2 spots on their turn, on the turn order track, like so. Do not use any spots on the track numbered higher than the number of players. So this is 2, it cannot go higher than 2. Keep the breeding charts, right here, handy so that players can refer to them during gameplay. And that completes the setup. You're now ready to get gardening. Each game of Scoville consists of a variable number of rounds. Each round is made of these 5 phases. In the auction phase, all players bid coins for the choice of turn order. Then, in turn order, they claim auction cards. First, slide the discs off the auction track. All players bid coins for the choice of turn order. Then, in turn order, they claim auction cards. When it is the first round, though, this is skipped. To bid, each player secretly selects any amount of their own coins, including possibly 0, and holds it in their hand. When all players are ready, everybody simultaneously reveals their bid. I bid 1 coin, Jordan bid 0 coins. The players who bid the highest chooses their spot on the turn order track. I will choose first. And moves their disc there. Then the next highest bidder, and so on until everyone chooses their spot. Players may pay their bids into banks as they go, and I've put the banks in these little glass bowls for easy access. In the event of a tie bid, the tied player who was earlier in the previous turn order chooses first. So if we were tied, saying I bid 0 and Jordan bid 0, since I was here, I get to choose first. Players who bid 0 do not get to choose their spot on the track. After every player who bid greater than 0 has chosen, 0 bidders drop down in previous turn order into the available spaces on the track from the lowest number to the highest. Note, there is no bid for turn order if in the very first round of the game, like I said previously. Turn order was randomly established during setup. In all other rounds, players will be bidding for turn order. In the new turn order, each player chooses one of the cards currently in the auction house. The player takes the peppers as shown. So I'll take this one, which will give me a red and yellow pepper. And Jordan will take this card, which will give her 2 yellow peppers. The player takes the peppers shown on the card from the supply and then discards the card. After all players have chosen, draw new cards from the deck to refill the empty auction spaces. Use the morning deck if it's still morning, afternoon deck if it's the afternoon. In the rare event that the deck runs out, shuffle the discard pile of the appropriate deck to form a new deck. In the planting phase, all players in turn order must plant 1 pepper. To plant a pepper, the player selects any pepper from their own supply and places it in the empty plot of the pepper field. A player's pepper may only be planted in a plot that is horizontally or vertically adjacent to a plot that already has a pepper in it. A player may plant 1 extra pepper by using this token right here. But we'll talk more about how that works later. So let's say I pick this red pepper and I plant it here. At the start, you do need to plant in the little places that's outlined with green. You can't quite see it from here, but I'm placing that pepper, and then Jordan would place a pepper here. After that, then you can just go nuts, as long as it's adjacent to those two peppers. If a player plants a pepper of a color which any award plaque still remains on City Hall, the player may collect the most valuable of those plaques. So, let's say I planted a purple, orange, or green. I would then collect this plaque because this is for purple, orange, or green, not all three. The plaque with the striped pepper on them refer to planting of a purple or orange or green pepper. A maximum of 1 plaque may be earned by each player per round, even if the player uses the bonus action tile to plant a second pepper. That would also qualify for a plaque. A player may earn more than 1 plaque of the same color, providing that they are earned in different rounds. So, I earned this plaque on my first round, but then I can't earn the second plaque. I have to wait until the next time I take a turn, even if I planted another one of those 3 peppers. In the harvesting phase, each player in reverse order moves their farmer up to 3 steps along the plot path. They always start here though, earning a pepper for each step, ending between 2 planted peppers. In the harvesting phase, which actually the better demonstration would be this, each player in reverse order moves their farmer up to 3 steps along the plot path, earning a pepper for each step ending between 2 planted peppers. In the first round, each player on their turn first places their farmer on the star right here, facing either direction, then begins their movement in later turns. Farmers begin their movement from wherever they sit. Farmers may move up to 3 spaces, but must move at least 1 step. 1 step consists of sliding the farmer along the path between the plots until the farmer is in the notches directly between 2 plots, or in the notch beside a plot if traveling along the outside edge of the field. It is irrelevant whether the plots are planted or not. This would get me nothing. However, let's say it's a little more later on in the game. We planted a pepper here and a pepper here. I would then take my guide because harvesting goes in reverse order, so Jordan would go first, and then I go 1, 2, and I can end it there. That would get me an orange pepper. In later turns, farmers begin their movement from wherever they sit. Farmers may move up to 3 steps, but must move at least 1 step. Farmers may not pass through nor stop on an opponent's farmer. So I can't be here. I can end here, though. In a rare case that a farmer is totally blocked and cannot move even 1 step, the player must skip their turn in the harvesting phase. A farmer may be pivoted at the start of a turn to start moving in any direction. So pivot, 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 pivot. But once it has begun movement, it may not be turned around to face the opposite direction. Because of this, it will not be possible to move along any portion of the path already traveled this turn. Another way to look at the movement is that a farmer may turn while moving, but not pass through the same intersection twice. When a farmer steps between 2 planted plots, the farmer harvests a pepper. The player collects a pepper or peppers according to the breeding chart. When a farmer steps between 2 peppers, the player gets to crossbreed the peppers and collect the resulting peppers from the supply. So get that orange one right there. Players will learn many of the combinations quite quickly, but it's always good to check the breeding chart to confirm the crossbreeding results. To use the breeding chart, find one of the peppers in the left column of the chart and follow its row across until it reaches the other peppers column. The place where the row and column meet displays the result of the crossbreed. So, as we can see here, a yellow and a blue pepper, if Jordan moved here, would result in getting her a green pepper. Most combinations result in a single pepper for the player. Some combinations result in 2 peppers. So, for example, later on, me or Jordan were to plant a red pepper, and Jordan or I will use Jordan's figure as the example, would step between these 2 red peppers. Instead of one of a different color, it would give us 2, it would give Jordan 2 red peppers. Some combinations, all involving brown peppers, is right here, result in an X on the chart, which means the player collects no peppers. In the fulfillment phase, all players in turn order may perform any or all of the following actions. The player may perform their actions in any order, but may only perform each action at most once per round. The player may choose one market card available at the farmer's market display. The player pays the peppers shown on the wanted side of the card to the supply and earns the reward shown on the other side. The player keeps the market card behind their screen. So I can actually fulfill this market card right here because it requires a yellow and an orange, and I have a yellow and orange pepper. I then will turn these in. I'll leave this card right here for now. I then claim my reward, which is 1 brown pepper, 3 more money, which will help for bidding and everything, and this little flame symbol down here means that I will earn 1 victory point at the end of the game. The player may choose one recipe card available in the chili cook-off display. The player pays what it says on the recipe card, so this requires a purple pepper and a yellow pepper. And Jordan has the requirements. She then returns the peppers to the supply and keeps the recipe card. And once again, just like with the market cards, there's a little heat right here. It'll give her 3 victory points at the end. She will then take this recipe card and place it behind her screen. The player may sell at most 5 of one color of held peppers to the supply. Each sold pepper earns $1 for every 2 of that color pepper currently planted. So Jordan or I can get $1, since there's a lot of red peppers planted right now, for each red pepper, every 2 red pepper. The game is divided into morning and afternoon. The game starts in the morning, which is why the morning decks of the market and auction cards were used during the setup. The time check phase works as follows. If it's morning, first count the number of recipe cards remaining at the chili cook-off. If there are fewer cards than there are players, then the afternoon is skipped. 1 more round is played and the game ends after the fulfillment phase of the round. Note, this does not often happen in the morning, but it is possible. Then count the number of market cards remaining in the farmer's market. If there are at least as many cards remaining as there are players, then it is still morning. Start a new round. If there are fewer cards than there are players, then the game progresses to the afternoon. Discard any remaining morning market cards from the farmer's market, like so. Then draw new market cards from the afternoon deck, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'll just place this here for decor. To refill the farmer's market to the same number that the game started with, which is, since we're playing a two-player game, 7, return the remainder of the afternoon deck to the box. Return the morning auction deck to the box and replace it with the afternoon auction deck, which has this green back on it. If you do have any morning cards out on there, you leave them out where they are for this round, and then you start a new round. If it's afternoon, count the number of market cards remaining in the farmer's market, and the number of recipe cards remaining in the chili cook-off over here. If there are fewer cards than there are players in one of the two locations, then one more round is played, and the game ends after the fulfillment phase of the round. If there are fewer cards than there are players in both of the two locations, then the game ends immediately with no final round. Otherwise, simply start a new round. When the game ends, each player totals their own points. Points are earned in 5 different categories. Number 1, points on market cards. Number 2, points on recipe cards. Number 3, points on award plaques. Number 4, points on the back of unplayed bonus action tiles. So that would be like this. There's a little point on the back. I'll zoom in so you can take a look. So here's the action, and here's the point. And every $3, finally, every $3 equals 1 point. Ignore remainders. The player with the greatest point total wins the game. In the event of a tie, the tied player with the most coins wins. And that's all you need to know to play Scoville. If you have any questions about this game, please put them in the comments below, and I'll be able to answer them as soon as I possibly can. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell to be notified for videos just like these. If you're a big fan of the channel as a whole, consider becoming a Patreon supporter on our Patreon page. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. Be on the lookout for our upcoming gameplay video of Scoville. But until then, thanks for the views.